Yes, the new worst game is making a reluctant return. But in the wise word of old man fake heart attack,
call an ambulance! Call an ambulance! But not for me.
The Raiders and Vikings swooped in and delivered the worst, and I mean this from the bottom of my cold, tiny, black little heart. The absolute, unequivocal worst game of the 2023 football season. This is the kind of game that parents who hate sports will show their children to make sure they have no interest in playing sports. Sure, you can play football, little Timmy, but first you have to sit down and watch this entire Vikings-Raiders game that ended 3-0. This game was so bad, I swear to God, I saw Raiders fans asking, was Josh McDaniels really that bad? They say a tie is like kissing your sister, so what does it feel like to win 3-0? Maybe like that scene in The Northman where he kisses his own mom. Do you know how hard it is, though, for two teams in the modern NFL to combine for just 3 points?
And that is gonna end this ball game.
The last time it happened was because a monsoon was occurring during a fucking game.
Wet ball away, Allen Rossum gonna let it go, and it looks like it's on a tee.
This is the kind of game that could make Mark Davis so sick to his stomach that he wouldn't be able to eat P.F. Chang's. Okay, that's crazy, but he would probably just skip the lettuce wraps. It's very hard to score just 3 points in an NFL game, and today I will reveal the bizarre things that led to that gross, disgusting achievement in the worst game ever.
It is shocking.
Today's episode is brought to you by Jack Links. Jack Links is a big deal, so much so that many of you congratulated me on my sponsorship with them in the last sponsored episode, which is actually really cool. And to answer your question, yeah, Jack Links is lining my pockets. They're lining my inner sports coat pocket with copious amounts of beef jerky. And I've actually designated certain jackets to be lined with specific types of beef jerky. My favorite blue one is my favorite teriyaki. This peppery one is, peppered. This untamed jacket, jalapeno. And my very first That's Good Sports jacket, that's right, it's original. With the holidays here, Jack Links makes a great stocking stuffer for any snack lover. So line your loved one's stockings with the only beef jerky I eat, Jack Links. Show them some love on the socials at Jack Links. Tell them you loved my ad. Tell them you loved me. When backup Vikings quarterback Josh Dobbs was balling, this is how we looked at him. Now he's just another unused exploding astronaut from Ron Howard's Apollo 13. And the Raiders of the Lost Ark? Well, the ark they lost is throwing the football into the end zone. Raiders are supposed to be intimidating, right? Thieving masters of the sea, wearing eye patches and pillaging and whatever. But in this game, the Raiders and the Vikings felt like this pirate.
Treasure Island!
Yeah. What truly makes a new worst game, though? Pretty simple. Two teams playing so bad it looks like they're trying to not score, a stupid amount of punts, a historically bad stat or two, a bunch of sacks or turnovers that don't turn into points, injuries to key players, a quarterback benching, and most importantly, drama. Drama for any fan unlucky enough to watch the game. The Raiders and Vikings went into this game, both having to start backup quarterbacks. Now the Raiders, their starting quarterback and worldwide sex symbol, Jimmy Garoppolo, got hurt earlier this season, presumably in a horrific sex accident. But after he got hurt, the Raiders inserted rookie quarterback Aiden O'Connell, who actually looks like the guy you see in porn. Garoppolo is now healthy, but O'Connell was better than Garoppolo, so he's starting this game. The Raiders fired their head coach, Josh McDaniels, about a month ago, a year and a half into his reign of terror. Now, nobody knows why Josh McDaniels got the job, which makes him a lot like our current and former president, but Antonio Pierce is...
I'm the captain now.
And after a nice start, it's going as well as it did for those Pirates in Captain Phillips. The Vikings lost the first quarterback in NFL history to accumulate $1 billion in Coles cash to an Achilles injury. Kirk Cousins was playing some of his best football before his injury. Minnesota then made a trade to acquire backup QB Josh Dobbs to be their starter, who was down in Arizona by way of Cleveland. Yes, this man had been traded twice in basically 2 months, but the Pastronaut became one of the best underdog stories in the NFL. A real-life scientist or aerospace engineer or astronaut. I don't know. He's a fucking smart dude. But like the underdog the Soviets blasted into space in 1957, I don't see this Pastronaut returning to the field soon. Now, how does an NFL game get to the 2-minute warning without any points being scored? An accomplishment that has not happened in 16 years. Well, the highlights from this game total 11 and a half minutes on the NFL YouTube channel, which is 11 minutes too long. I would have respected the NFL so much more if they just posted the single game-winning kick by Greg Joseph with the title, "All of the highlights from the Raiders-Vikings game." But here's where it gets crazy. The Raiders had the audacity to post a highlight video on their official YouTube channel.
And I commend you for that.
The Raiders' top plays from Week 14. Guys, you lost 0-3. There are no top plays. This is the equivalent of my top plays from jerking off.
Got hard for us.
I watched the Raiders run a dozen plays around the 40-yard line for the first 2 minutes of this highlight package, somehow doing the impossible, gaining yards but going nowhere. They were only broken up by random Josh Dobbs sacks. The dynamic duo of QBs combined for 9 sacks in this game, which makes this game so much worse. Had one dude been sacked like 14 times, this shit would have been mildly entertaining. Someone might remember this game one day. Josh Dobbs had 63 passing yards on 23 attempts. I don't need to be a Pastronaut to tell you that will get you a one-way ticket on the Challenger. Too soon? Okay, he looked like what I imagine a real Viking would look like in outer space. One of the best receivers in the league, though, Justin Jefferson, missed a large portion of this season with a hamstring injury. He made his triumphant return only to get immediately hurt and exit the game and have to go to the hospital with a chest injury, which sucks because the league is not as fun without him on the field. One of the other best receivers in the league is Davante Adams, and unfortunately for him, he plays for the Raiders. Only the Raiders could ruin Justin Jefferson and Davante Adams at the same freaking time. He and Vikings tight end TJ Hawkinson were the leading ball catchers in this game, and they hilariously each had exactly 53 yards. And by a miracle performed by Baby Jesus, Baby Buddha, Baby Allah, and Baby Brahma, the Vikings got into field goal range in the second quarter. I don't know how they got there, but I do know only the purest form of religion, the baby version of all the gods, got them there. And kicker Greg Joseph, named after Greg from Succession, who said,
if it is to be
kicked,
so it is.
Pushes the kick wide right. But you knew that, right? I didn't lie to you earlier about no points happening until the end of this game. You knew he was gonna miss that kick. The Vikings kept pinning the Raiders in their own territory, where more sacks ensued. This became a battle of field position, which is what losing coaches say when their offense fucking sucks and they want the punter to feel like an important person. Defenders kept dancing after their sacks, but even their dances didn't seem to have heart. Maybe try this one on for size. The Raiders' longest play was this 38-yard catch and run by tiny little Hunter Renfrow, who is the only player who somehow looks both older and younger than Tom Brady at the same time. Finally, the Raiders were in the red zone, and they smartly go right back to Renfrow, who just had given them that spark, and... ah, fuck, he fumbles the ball. No, Hunter. No, Hunter. Hunter Renfrow's ball security About the same as Hunter Biden's laptop security. I almost wish the Raiders won, so I could say Minnesota lost this game despite winning the turnover battle 3-0. The Raiders, who have had some bad seasons, by the way, never made it through 3 quarters of a scoreless game. That fumble recovery was the Vikings' best play, and they celebrated appropriately. I call this kegs and goose eggs. The Raiders answered by hitting this deep pass to Trey Tucker, though. Just kidding, he bobbled the ball a tiny bit, and the refs reversed the call after Kevin O'Connell challenged. A catch this close and this dumb of a game? Rule in favor of the cool play, refs. I'll never forgive Kevin O'Connell, by the way, for making watching paint dry even worse. He's like, how about we lie on a bed of nails naked while this paint dries? We'll barely notice how boring that drying paint is because of all the excruciating pain our naked back and ass are feeling. Josh Dobbs took his final 2 sacks and was officially benched in favor of backup QB Nick Mullens. Mullens came in and did something neither Dobbs nor Aiden O'Connell could do, though. Get lucky. This tip pass somehow finds its way to TJ Hawkinson. I'll never forgive O'Connell, but the move to swap Mullens won the Vikings this game. A couple quick, nice completions in Minnesota kicks the game winner. The most anticlimactic game-winning field goal I have ever seen. But the Raiders had 2 minutes and a timeout to, just get into field goal range. Would Antonio Pierce be as smart as O'Connell and send in sex god Jimmy G? No, and Aiden O'Connell on his first play in the 2-minute drill throws the ball right back to Minnesota. That's Ivan Pace Jr., a rookie linebacker making his first ever NFL interception. Thank you, Ivan, for making sure this fucking game didn't go on any longer than it should have. If you really want to become a true Viking, I suggest you change your name from Ivan to Ivor. How low scoring was this low scoring game? Well, it ties the Steelers and Dolphins for lowest scoring game ever at 3-0, which happened in 2007 in the Mud Bowl. Unlike that game with the atrocious weather, this game took place in a dome, making it the lowest scoring indoor game in NFL history. Thanks to the Vikings, NFL teams since 2008 are now 1-255 when they score 3 points or fewer. The movie The Northman ended with 2 warriors fighting naked on top of an active volcano. But watching this game felt like being engulfed in hot magma for 3 hours while also naked. And that is how I watch the worst games for this series. Thanks for watching the seriously real new worst game ever. Please subscribe here on YouTube. Winners and losers will be up tomorrow morning, so make sure you come back for that. And the Broncos recap will be in that video.